Welcome back to FPL Rivals World Cup special. So the group games are done. So England played last night. So we're going to talk about England's game against Panama, and we'll probably discuss some of the overreaction to some of the performances. And then we'll take a look at the up and coming round of 32 games, which are coming thickest. It's mad to say we've got 16 knockout games this week. And then we're kicking off. So, Siege, how are you?
Good, mate. Thank you. Very good. Just before we start, I think we've got to mention that the last episode we did on the Ghana game is our biggest episode was streamed and downloaded yet. So nearly 150 streams and downloads. So obviously people like us talking shit about England, which we might have to start doing more often. But please like and subscribe. We're trying to grow everything, but we appreciate everything. And I think quite a lot of people liked our last video, so we're going to try and keep the momentum going. But in terms of England, mate, yeah, I think we've got to come on here to bring a bit of positivity to the country, the media. Some of the videos, we spoke about this before, that we've seen coming out over the last 24 hours are absolutely scandalous, realistically. Like, I don't know what it is with England. Yes, I know we got slightly over ambitious after that Croatia game, but I don't think we deserve the negative press we're getting at the moment. The performance was poor again, but we won 2-0. We didn't concede. Clean sheets. Do you know what I mean? That's 2 clean sheets in a row now with 5 changes. We'll talk about the changes in a second, but how do you feel the game, honestly? We'll talk about the game first, mate. How do you feel the game honestly went?
It was an interesting game. I think it's difficult when you haven't got a stack load to play for in the group stage. Obviously, we probably needed to win to get the better side of the draw, which we did. Which is nice because I think we avoided a lot of the big teams anyway, which is what you want, really. You got to win your group.
Exactly.
We did that. I thought we actually played a lot better than we played against Ghana because Panama set up relatively similarly. They had about 5 at the back at one point, I think.
Yeah.
And they were pretty solid, to be fair to them. I think people just look at Panama and go, oh, they're the drubbing boys. But if you look at their 2 games, they only lost 1-0 twice. So they weren't going to be awfully dreadful as they were 6 years ago when we battered them. Was it 6 years ago? 8 years ago?
Yeah, no, 8 years ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
8 years, which is a long time. So, yeah, I thought it was a lot better. Still things to work on. I think the quality in the final third could be better. But we've got Jude Bellingham, who looks as in fine form right now. He carried us a bit last night, but
absolute animal. I think
yeah.
I'm that's the only thing I would be worried about. I really think, like, if we lose one of Kane or Bellingham, like, we are screwed pretty much. Like, the game goes through those two, realistically. I think you're so right about the Panama. I think we're underestimating all these teams now. Like, first half particularly, again, every single player these days is an athlete. They set up in that 5. Their closing down was a joke again. And actually, I was slightly concerned about how we were quite susceptible to the counter attack. Even like 5 seconds in, big lump upfield. I don't know who it was. Their striker just Bosch sort of concert out the way, fell to him 20 yards out. Shit shot. If they could actually shoot yesterday, we'd have been in a bit of trouble, I think. We were really susceptible to that counter attack. I don't know why. Maybe because Rice wasn't playing. We didn't have that sitting. I don't think Bellingham can play that sitting role.
No, and I think looking at Anderson lost a lot of 50-50s last night. There were a
Yes,
lot
he
of
did. He did.
50-50s in midfield, and he lost. I think he probably lost the majority of them, which
Yeah.
meant they were easily countering on us. And look, we could chat all we want about who's in the squad, who's not in the squad. It seems to be all the chat. But Kwanzaa played, and I think it was It was a tough game for him, to be fair. Like he hasn't played with a lot of these lads before, so not only has he got the pressure of playing in his first World Cup game and playing in a position he's probably not that familiar with, and then also having to play with people he's not that familiar with. So I think it was a tough game for him as well.
Yeah,
So
it's interesting that you're so right. I think I can sort of talk about it myself a little bit from my own experiences. Like, being a centre back and then being asked to play right back are completely different positions. I think you really have to be technically good to be a right back. Not saying you don't as a centre back, but a lot of the time as a centre back, you are in position, you're heading, you're winning balls, you're tackling. You're not necessarily with the ball at your feet as much. I know nowadays in the Prem, centre halves get it a lot more, but as a right back, you are expected to help the right mid. And I think a couple of times first half, he almost tried to help Saka too much, and they just played a ball in behind, and Quansah was nowhere to be seen. It was almost like position. He didn't know when to go and when to stay, because realistically, as a fullback, I think that just comes with playing the game, and it's really interesting knowing when to go and when to support and when to not. It really is an instinct thing, and like you said, him majority playing most of his time at centre back, he's not going to know that, and I think he was a little bit exposed. But you're right, like asking him to come in like that again. I don't want to harp on about it, but we knew Reece James was going to get injured. When I saw that, I saw actually some bloke commented on one of our Instagram reels
Oh,
after
really?
that, saying like quietly James gets injured or something like that. Now that was before I even heard, and I'm just a little bit annoyed that he's picked James and Livramento, who have Livramento's come back from a major injury. James is injury prone, probably the most injury prone player in the Premier League in the last 10 years. And he picks both of them with no replacement. And we're putting Quansah there. Like, it's going to have to be Jed Spence now, because Quansah's now rolled his ankle. And again, not having Trent Alexander-Arnold is mind blowing again. But I'm not going to dwell on that too much. But
Plus, I
I
don't think
do,
Tuchel gives a crap about what Aurel said. Like, I think
yeah,
you get that feeling from him. He doesn't give a shit. Let's be totally honest. He does
no,
not
he doesn't.
care
No.
about the noise. And why should he? Why should he? At the end of the day, he's a world class manager. And that's why he's a world class manager, because he doesn't give a shit about the outside noise. His job is to try and take England to a World Cup final at least. Um, and we've got
I
a
do get that.
favourable draw.
I do get that, but I just don't get picking lads like that when you're trying to get through an eight game tournament who literally can pick up injuries with the change of the wind direction. Like
Yeah,
Livramento's coming off the back of a monster injury, comes back, gets injured, he brings Chalobah in, like we talked about last week. Can't believe he didn't bring Trent, but that's fine, Chalobah. But then James gets injured as well. And we've only got one fullback in the team. Well, two if you include Spence, but I think Spence is pony, personally. But we've got one recognised fullback, and Nico O'Reilly isn't even a fullback. So we haven't got any fullbacks. And let's be honest, if you look at Hakimi, you look at Mendes, you look at some of these massive teams, their best players are their fullbacks.
yeah.
And I think we're going to be in real trouble when it comes to that. But like, you're absolutely right. Tuchel doesn't give a shit. He's picked his squad. We have to move on, and we will. But
Yeah, it's just for me personally, I'm just bored of the conversation
yeah,
because it comes up.
I
It's
get
not
you.
only us and fans that are talking about it; they talk about it on the punditry, and it's just my point on it is, it is what it is, and you can talk about it's something to talk about, but we should be focusing more on the actual game rather than talking about the players that aren't there. And it just seems to
Definitely.
always keep coming back to that. It's like, oh, these players aren't there. And I'm sure those players, they don't want to hear that. They don't care either. Like, I think Cole Palmer tried to say that a bit. He's like, I don't care. I'm not crying about it. Like, I
Yeah,
want them
it's
to win
good.
it.
It's good.
Like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, we'll go back to the game itself. Like, again, hard to break down. Like, I think we're gonna be better against those better teams when they're a little bit more open, a little bit more expansive. Like, it's very hard to break down these teams when you have 10 players behind the ball, and they were very fit like Ghana. I think they flagged a little bit towards the end. Like, it was a couple moments of quality from us that got us over the line. But I do think second half we were good. But, well, maybe not good. We were better, definitely. A little bit of quality. I think we definitely missed. I think Anderson on the corners, not a lot of quality again. Saka on the corners. We seem
Got
to have
lucky
lost a
with
bit of that.
one.
I know Rice's quality wasn't very good in the game before, but like I think Rice it just looked completely different without Rice in there. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Bellingham was, I think that going with Rodgers and Bellingham, obviously the aim was to try and get further forward. Now Rodgers, I thought, was anonymous the whole game. I don't remember
Yeah,
him being in the game. Yeah, I think we did miss Rice, but obviously I think we had to rest him as well. He's had a long
absolutely. Yeah,
season.
yeah, yeah.
Well, we've got another game in 3 days, so you're going to have to rest some of these guys when you can. But yeah, the quality last night in the final third was poor. I think Rashford looked lively, but his crossing was generally poor. Again, Saka looked lively, but his final pass wasn't great. Madueke was the same when he came on, looked lively. Final third. Thank God that we've got Jude Bellingham, who's got a bit of quality, who can just actually, pick an actual cross out and not have to run at 100 miles an hour to do it.
Yeah.
And obviously Harry Kane's going to do what he's going to do. He's going to get in the right place at the right time. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I did quite like Rashford out there. I did quite like Rashford. He's still got he's still got a lot more movement, and even when he cuts in, comparing him to Gordon, he looks like he's always going to get a shot off. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Gordon just looked like he was going down a sort of a black hole when because he doesn't cut in like Rashford. I think it was first off when he cut in and he made a good save down to his right. Was like quite early on. I thought, oh, do you know what? If he can do that a lot more, but again, I think that's where we need the fullback coming around the outside of Rashford. I know it's hard when we're on the break for O'Reilly to get up, but if O'Reilly can take that defender out and Rashford can cut in, because that's all he wants to do. You saw the goal against Croatia, but I thought we looked a lot better with Saka and Rashford. Yes, the quality was poor again, but I do think, again, I think we had 17 or 18 shots and only 6 on target, and we scored 2 goals out of that. Like, we really do need to up the chances to get some quality chances. Like, let's be honest, Kane's header was excellent, and Bellingham's goal was, well, I wouldn't even say that was a chance. It was just a decent bit of instinct from him sticking his leg out, and it hit his
it's a
hit
good
his toe.
finish though,
And
isn't
it
it?
was a good
That
finish. It was a
yeah.
good finish. But like, you can't even class that as a chance, really, can you? I imagine the XG on that is pretty low
Well,
because
it was a fluffed corner, wasn't it? Saka. It was a poor ball from
exactly.
Saka. Their defender decided he didn't want to head it at the near post, and it just Bellingham's got a free. Basically got a bit more strength than the guy. I think there's one main. I'm not overly worried about these 2
No,
games. We'll
not
pick
at
up
all,
and
not at
move
all.
on as long as we beat Congo on Wednesday. Again, I'm not overly fussed. I think it's where for us where the tournament really kick. We just got to get our way to the last 16, and then that's where the tournament will properly kick in for us. I think that's where teams will be a bit more expansive.
Yeah,
Um, the one thing that slightly concerns me is I don't think Thomas Tuchel knows what his best 11 is right now, and
yeah,
that
I
is
know.
a little bit worrying. That we're heading into the knockout phases, and we don't really have our winger. Like, which wingers are you going with? Um,
I know.
like we can't really choose that. I think the back four is probably pretty certain now because of injuries, etc. The midfield is pretty certain. Kane up front. It's the wingers. I just don't think he knows. And to be fair, I don't think he's to blame for that. I just don't think these players
Yeah,
have
agreed.
been good enough. If I
No,
personally, I just don't think they've been good. They've got the quality, they just haven't shown it yet, and they haven't stepped up yet. Now, hopefully, we've still got potentially 5 games until if we win a World Cup. So hopefully they can find a bit of form. But at the moment, the only player that looks like in any type of form for us is Jude Bellingham. Really,
literally. If you compare it like to the French team, I know the French team have got the riches they possess with their forward players, but the first game he started the strongest team. The second game he replaced Doué with Barcola and he replaced Chouameni with that was it Kone, I think,
yeah.
and Digne at left back. So he had a little play around, and then if you actually watched it, who did they beat 4-1 in the end when Dembele scored the hat trick?
Norway.
Norway. So I know Norway had a load of
Norway's B
changes, but
team.
yeah, Norway's beating. But then he obviously had a little look in that second game, and then he thought, oh, do you know what? So he went back to Hernandez. He went Hernandez, Upamecano, Saliba, Kunde, and then he went Chouameni and Kone. So he got rid of Rabiot, but he's brought Chouameni back in, and then he went back to Dembele, Doué, Elise with Mbappe. Do you know what I mean? I know, like, he had a little play, And
I,
then
I,
obviously he got the two centre mids
ob-
sorted.
ob-
We actually spoke about those
yeah.
centre mids, didn't we, as well?
Obviously, France have been great, right? But I think you've got to look at. I think people have got to remember who teams have played so far.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
I completely
and
agree
and
with you
and
there.
I think the way that teams are set up, I've watched those France games, and I've watched some of the Argentina games. Compared to England, have played two teams that literally sat with about
Yeah, I know.
six at the back, right? Senegal had a go at France, got cut open eventually. Iraq even had a bit of a go at France. Like they didn't set up to try and draw that game.
No,
Like they
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
go fully defensively. And Norway, it was their B team. So,
yeah,
which was slightly disappointing because my thought on Norway is why are you playing your B team? Like you're not going to try, you're not going to win. Let's
yeah.
be
They obviously
realistic.
back
You're probably
themselves,
not
don't
going to win
they?
the World Cup. But if you're going
Yeah.
to rest all your players, then fine. So
No, I completely agree. And it was actually, I think, Ghana scoring that last minute winner against Panama
yeah,
made
changed
them.
because they
It
only needed a
changed
point.
everything. It
Yeah.
was crazy because if that was 0-0, oh my god, that game against us, they'd have been going hell for. They'd have try and score. And like you're so right. And I think that's where people talk about our group being easy, but if you look at some of these groups, like you said earlier, we had one of the hardest groups because the way it played out as well. So we were all going to be up against it, particularly with Ghana. And obviously we were lucky that Panama had nothing to play for at the end, but they still set up with a pack five.
But
Do you know what
that
I mean?
made
They
it
don't want
worse, I think, because they
It
had
did.
nothing to play for because
Exactly.
they hadn't scored a goal. They've never won a World Cup game. What a better chance for them with
I know.
nothing to play for.
I
But
know, it's
they
crazy,
still
isn't it?
set up in the same way. They still set up really defensively and wanted to catch us on the break. Now, yes, England didn't look great defensively, but we didn't concede. And I think, you just take the small wins here. And I mean,
There's
I
lots
just
of small
baffled. I
wins.
just get baffled by some of the things I'm like, even the guys on Talk Sport and things like that. I'm like, why? Surely we should just just support the team.
Have you
Why do
seen
we
that
need?
Grella bloke, that American bloke? I don't know what his name is. He's going
No.
him and Troy Deeney just absolutely going mad. I
Oh yeah, I
love the
did
set
see
of
that.
Troy Deeney, like,
Like,
mate, like,
did Troy Deeney never got an England cap?
no.
Like,
I
what does
was
he
like, you
know?
can't even, like, you're an average Prem player. Like, average
The
Prem
people who
player.
I look at the interviews I do like is watching like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, right?
Yeah.
I think he chats a lot of set. He's like, "You're through. What more do you want? Like, you
And
got
Vieira
7
said the
points."
same as well. Vieira said the same.
Yeah, it's like, why are you kicking and screaming about it? You won the game. Like, you didn't lose.
Yeah,
You didn't
exactly.
concede. And I think that's how Tuchel looks at it. He doesn't give a shit. And I think, as I said earlier, he doesn't care. He'll block out that noise. It doesn't bother him.
Exactly.
Um,
When they asked him about the team lineups, he was like, yeah, we're strong. Next
yeah,
question. 5
yeah,
changes, yeah. This.
yeah.
Next. I do like that, and I really hope that I do think he's got the quality there. Like we are slightly light in defence now in terms of fullbacks, but again, that's the risk we took. We have to move on from that.
My question
Hopefully,
was to one of my mates from work. Yeah, yesterday. He messaged me and was like, "Well, that was shit. We're going to lose to Congo." And I was like,
settle.
if we go back a couple of years, right, would have Southgate's team been any better than where we're at right
No,
now?
no
I
way.
don't think I think we would have still struggled. So I don't. I think it's just like But yeah, do these games really matter? No, they're forgotten
No,
now. Like they're gone.
absolutely.
Like they don't mean anything. Like it's not a long Premier League season.
No,
We're now the point system is out a window. It doesn't matter how many goals we score from now on. I don't care if we beat Congo 1-0, right?
no,
I'll take that. It means we're in the last 16. Um,
exactly.
talking of Congo, I'm
Yeah.
quite glad it was Congo and not Senegal because I thought Senegal
Yes.
were giving
Yes.
us a bigger game.
I was actually looking at
I was
that
quite
thinking,
glad that,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, I was thinking that as well. I was like, oh God, I hope Congo win. I saw they were 1-0 down and I was like, oh. And then I woke up this morning and it finished 3-1 in the end, so I was quite
Yeah.
glad. Um,
Johan Wissa with a little double from the penalty spot, and then he was good finish the last one. So they've got a little bit more quality in terms of their players than Ghana and Panama. But again, I think 9 out of the 10 African teams in the tournament got through, which I think is incredible. I heard Mahrez talking about that, like 9 out of the 10 teams, like 8 years ago, 12 years ago, like the African teams were seen as minnows, whereas now, like, I think Morocco coming through in that
They
last
all, they
World
all
Cup,
qualified, didn't they? Apart from Tunisia.
yeah, and Tunisia were absolutely dog shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's you can't underestimate these African teams anymore. Not that people are, but again, and a lot of these African teams now are getting the likes of a Wan-Bissaka and players that are coming from that English background who are trying to get into other national teams due to the fact that their chance has gone with England. So I think their recruitment of these sort of players like Nigeria with Iwobi and Lookman and things like that, they're starting to get real quality in these teams. So I think they're going to be a seriously tough test again with the
Yeah,
climate. We've actually been,
I'll be intrigued to see how they set up, right?
yeah,
Because they did. So Portugal struggled against them, and
mm,
I think this comes back to the fact of we've won more games at this World Cup than Portugal have,
yeah, agreed.
right? And Portugal had to play Uzbekistan and Congo and Colombia, so had a similar group to what we had, right?
Yeah,
Ghana and Congo are probably quite similar. Uzbekistan is shit, like Panama, or probably even worse than Panama, I'd say. And
oh,
then
definitely.
Colombia, who are quite good, a bit like Croatia. So probably a bit more flair to Colombia. Um, but I'll be intrigued to see how Congo set up against us. Now
Yeah,
they've
yeah, yeah.
seen our last two games. Will they be quite happy to go, we'll take 0-0 after 90 minutes and then run our luck into penalties? Or will they try and come at England? Now, if they try and come at us, I think that helps us a little bit.
Yeah,
It kind of plays into our hands a bit better, but I'll be intrigued to see what they do.
it's
I'd like to
interesting.
hope they come at us a
I'm
bit
just
and
look
make
yeah,
the game
I'm
better.
just looking here. It's really interesting. So, um, against Portugal and Colombia, they set up with a back five,
Yeah, so they'll
and
do that
then
against us.
yeah, and then last night they went for a back four. They went for a 4-4-2, and obviously in terms of the stats, like 58, they had 19 shots last night compared to so they're going to set up with a five. It's going to be again. It's not going to be a pretty game. It's just about getting over the line again. It's a bit of, and that's where I think we haven't had those moments of quality in this. Like you need someone, like, someone can just score a 20-yard screamer or a free kick or like Jude's ball, a little bit of quality on someone's head. We haven't had after coming out the first game where we had so many moments of quality. They've been so far in between the last two games. But again, when you've got hardly any space in between the lines, like
Yeah,
you
look at
really got
yeah,
your touch
exactly.
has got to be so good. You've really got to be on top of your game to
Look
be
at
able
Harry
to
Kane last night. He was man marked wherever he went, right?
literally.
And that's so difficult. I think like if people who play football understand that in a game, if you are man marked constantly, you have no time on the ball. So the times he did try and come short, the centre back went with him because they were playing pretty much five at the back. That centre back's job was to man
Mm,
mark Harry Kane, right? So and that's what he did. But obviously Harry Kane's world class, so he only needs a yard in
a
the
sniff.
box,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's what he got in the end. And I think that's going to be crucial for us in these games. That's crucial in
And it
these
is, and
tough
it is.
games when you're playing against a lot of defence. It's
You're
even
so
hard
true.
for him to get in a game and get an opportunity to have a shot. I think when he did have a few shots last night, he had about five defenders in front of him.
But
Like,
it is trying to and being asked like I've done it before when managers have asked me to man mark a player. It's actually an easy job to do. You literally,
yeah,
I know obviously you can't, especially someone like Kane. I think the hard thing with your man mark Kane if he goes deep, obviously you got to pass him on. But man marking someone, all your sole focus is them. It's an easy
yeah,
thing to do when you've got other, but then obviously you need to have other players around you. But the thing with Kane, and it's thing with like other teams, you take one of the players out, but they've got three or four other players that have the quality. Whereas us, you man mark Kane, you take Bellingham out the game, like we really do struggle then. So I really do think teams, particularly these African teams who are very athletic and fit, are going to target Kane and Bellingham. If they can take those two out of the game, they've got a real chance, particularly at just keeping us to 0-0, goes to extra time penalties. It's an absolute free for all then. I think that's what they'll be trying to do. Get us on the counter. Like Panama had two or three chances on the counter that a little bit more quality, they would have made
yeah.
Pickford work. I think
I
they had
mean, as you said at the beginning, we did without Rice. Anderson had a lot of work, lot of ground to cover last night. he had a lot because Bellingham was not playing the 8.
No, he wasn't. No.
And to be fair, we didn't need him playing the 8. Let's be honest, we didn't need him
No, we
there
did
because
not against them. Exactly. You only need one sitter. Yeah.
we needed him breaking the line, and that's what he was doing, and that's where our chances came from. So I think fine if they're going to mark Bellingham and Kane out of the game, that then frees up Rice to come from deep. What I'm trying to say is, I think all I'm asking for is just a tiny bit more quality from our wide players. That's it.
Yeah.
Like just a good ball into the box. Just not like frantic running at 100 miles an hour and trying to whip a ball in with no thought of where it's going. Like running in, taking a take. You've got the quality to slow your body down, turn it around. Like, what do I know? I'm not a professional fucking player, but it's kind of just taking a moment, getting your head up, or running with the ball with your head up so you can pick out a bloody cross. Like
that's it.
I think Madueke came on and his first thought was, I'm just going to knock it past this guy and run past him. And I'm like, okay, fine. But it went off for a goal kick.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
But I like the intent. And, you know, we do kind of scream out for that, like take on your man. But there has to be a bit of a better decision making in that. Like, if I take on my man now, what does that do then? Does that help what we're trying to do with Harry Kane in the middle and Jude Bellingham coming in late? Or do I need to come back and whip a ball in? Now, too many times last night, Saka came, cut back, didn't whip the ball in. And that it wound me up so much. I was like, just put the ball in the fucking box. And to be fair, Rashford did do it, but his quality was poor. So, like Rashford cut in a lot, whipped a ball in, but again, it just wasn't good enough quality. So we'll see. I think let's stay calm. Let's see where we get to on Congo. I still think, and I said it the other day, Thomas Tuchel has set us up for the bigger teams, right? He wants to drag these teams. He wants to drag teams out, and you can kind of see that, a bit of a sense of that in the way that we play. So
it is, and just to sort of so I just wanted to just touch on our route before we go through. We'll just go through the knockout games just at the end of this episode in a couple of minutes. But if we beat Congo, we then play Ecuador or Mexico. And I think the big one after that is the quarterfinal. So realistically, we are playing Brazil or Ivory Coast, Japan or Norway. So we're looking at probably either playing Brazil or Norway. So let's be honest, Brazil in the quarterfinals is probably something that's going to happen.
To be fair, I think the Japanese will give Brazil a game.
I think they will. I think they will.
I think they will. And
all
Senegal,
those teams. Yeah,
like,
Brazil, Ivory Coast, Japan, and Norway. Realistically,
and Ivory Coast,
teams are gonna,
they could give Norway a game, right? Well, we cannot. I think the difference between this World Cup and past World Cups is there's so many tougher teams to play now, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Used to get these knockout games and think, oh, okay, we can. It'd be easy. Like, I remember when England used to play some dog shit teams in the last 16, and we'd scrape through before getting battered by a bigger team.
Yeah.
But these teams are no walkover, and I think that's what's important here. Is, you know, Congo have won a game and drew to Portugal, so it's not going to be an easy game for us. Like Senegal are the African champions, give or take. Well, that's a different spot. But Norway have got Haaland, right? Brazil, and Japan
beat us 2-3 months ago,
and they drew to Holland in the knockouts,
and beat Brazil in a friendly.
Yeah, and didn't they draw to Sweden as well in their group? I think they did, didn't they? Looking at it. Yeah,
I think the last game,
drew to Holland and battered, like Tunisia were dreadful. But Japan are not going to just roll over and let Brazil walk all over them like Scotland. You know, talking of Scotland, isn't that hilarious that we had a third place team? They couldn't make it to the knockouts. Again, Steve Clark's got so much shit, and I'm like, why?
I know, but he's literally, they haven't won a game at the World Cup for 30 years. They win a game, and what more do they want from him?
And they've got a shit team.
Yeah.
No, they've got quality up front at all. Like, what's he meant to do? That's not his fault they don't have quality.
And let's be honest, they gave those couple of goals they gave Brazil. Like,
they gave Brazil the game. If they'd only lost 1-0, they would have qualified, right?
But like I don't understand, like Scott McKenna. Like, why is he coming in?
I
Centre
don't even know who
half,
that
like
is, mate.
Scott McKenna, like he's playing out in like Copenhagen or something. Like, oh my god, bringing him in against Brazil, like lads.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's frightening. But I just wanted to go through the round of 32 knockout games. We won't go into them in any detail, but we've obviously got Canada and South Africa that's currently still 0-0 tonight. We've got Germany against Paraguay, France against Sweden, the Netherlands against Morocco,
Good
Portugal,
game, that.
Croatia, Spain, Austria, USA, Bosnia, Belgium, Senegal, Brazil, Japan, Ivory Coast, Norway, Mexico, Ecuador, sorry, England, Congo, Argentina,
Oh,
Cape Verde, Australia, Egypt,
Canada
Switzerland,
just scored
Algeria, and then Colombia and Ghana. And yes, Canada just scored in the
in the
90th minute.
91st minute. I mean, they've
No,
probably deserved this game, mate. They've had so sorry to interrupt you, but they've had so many chances.
yeah,
I'm just looking at the stats, and I
12
mean,
shots, 7 on target. Like,
South
come on.
Africa have had one shot on target and 9 touches in the Canada
I
box
can't believe after watching that South Africa in that first game against Mexico that
that
they
they
somehow
qualified.
beat Korea. Like,
No,
how on earth? They got 4 points for fuck's sake somehow.
no. But this just states like some of the teams, some of these knockout games to me are like how. Like this is one of them. Like what a dreadful! You would never have expected this to be a
A knockout
knockout
game.
game.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't
The
it?
other ones I was looking at as well was like USA Bosnia. I mean
Switzerland, Algeria.
Switzerland Algeria, Australia Egypt. I
Yeah,
mean you've got some interesting. I mean there's some big ties. I can tell you what. Like Netherlands Morocco is
that's a
huge.
monster, isn't it? That's a monster. Yeah.
That's huge. I think Belgium and Senegal is a good game. I think that's a tough game for Belgium.
I think Mexico, Ecuador is going to be an absolute scrap, isn't it?
Yeah. And you know Croatia will put up a fight against Portugal. I'm so intrigued to see how Croatia get on against Portugal
Yeah.
because I feel like right now England. We look at I look at it as my view is I look at what Portugal are doing and are comparing England to Portugal. Right,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
two teams who at the start of the tournament were probably in the top 4 favourites to win the World Cup. Right, had a
Yeah.
very similar start to the World Cup, and it's funny that we're going to be playing Congo, who they couldn't beat, and now they are going to play Croatia.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm really
True.
intrigued to see. I think it'll be a good little benchmark to actually see how well did we do
Yes.
against Croatia compared to what Portugal. I know the knockouts is slightly different, and we did say that, but that would be a good one. And obviously Cape Verde against Argentina. What more could you ask for?
What
They've
more could
already
you
drawn
ask
to
for?
Spain.
Yeah.
I mean, Messi's already got what 6 goals at the World Cup.
6. Yeah.
I mean, he's going to get another 5.
He's gonna touch 10. Let's be honest. They're gonna begin. They're gonna be. We talked about it. Well, I know we spoke about Dembele. Me putting that bet on Dembele, and he comes through and scores a hat trick. It just cracked
Oh
me.
no,
Like
it's so funny, isn't it?
I
So
was
typical.
laughing, but he could easily. Anyone in that French team could easily get 10 as well. I think, and like, because
Yeah,
realistically, I'm not sure Norway are going to get through um beyond quarterfinal stage, but
yeah, and I just don't. I just, as I said a minute ago with Japan and people, I just don't think you can underestimate some of these teams. You know,
no,
I think we've got to be. There'll be some interest. I still think we're going to have a 1 or 2 surprises in the not this
definitely,
knockout round. I
definitely,
think there'll be 1 or 2 big teams that go out. Hopefully, it's not England. Touch
yeah,
wood. Hopefully, it's
Jesus,
not England. But yeah, that sums up not that sums it up nicely, really, doesn't it? So, intriguing. Very, very
lovely.
intriguing. Just before we finish, this isn't football related, but I just did want to call it out. Huge news in we do like a bit of sport all round, but obviously it's huge news in cricket today. Ben Stokes steps
Yeah,
away from international cricket. Um, Unbelievable player. Like probably one of England's greatest ever players, captains, whatever you say. And I think he is a prime example of what happens if the media
yeah,
get hold of you and weigh you down. And I think that's my only call out is we started the episode saying that we overreacted. I think the media are overreacting and putting unnecessary shit on the team.
Yeah,
And that's
agreed.
a prime. Ben Stokes is exhausted because of what the way that the media question the way he does things. And I think that's part of what he said in his interview. He said he's just tired of being asked the questions. He had no more fight to answer some of those questions anymore. And I totally get that. So just from a sporting perspective, sad day for cricket, but
Yeah, real
obviously
sad day. Real sad day.
what a player. Great player. So yeah, brilliant. Siege, are we going to do another one of these this week once we get past Congo?
We'll see. We'll see how that Congo game goes. But we know the viewers and people at home are really liking these little snippets after the game. So we will try and do another one after the Congo game. We'll see what the result is first. We'll see which night we do it on. But we know you like them. But please like and subscribe. These little World Cup episodes have gone down really well, and like we said, we had our highest viewed video on YouTube with over 140 views, I think, which is crazy, really. I think our last highest was like 30, 35, and I think Butler, you
I think the
messaged
whole
me
of Ghana watched our episode.
yeah, you messaged me Friday. Butler messaged me Friday morning and saying, "Jesus Christ, that YouTube vid's got over 100 views." I was like, "What?" So yeah, we will keep doing it because we like talking about it, and obviously you guys like listening to it. But yeah, please hit the like and subscribe button because that really really helps.
We will do if England, even if England go out, right, which we're hoping they don't. Even if they do, we'll do one more episode to close off a bit of the. Maybe we'll come back after.
That's
But
it.
we'll see. There will be another episode that will probably come on Friday this week.
Yeah.
And again, we'll talk in more detail about how our prediction he's getting on there because obviously it's
Yeah, we
great
will.
to see Rafaro still bottom. Keep it up.
I think I'm top, aren't I?
Yeah. You want me to have a quick look?
Just tell me if I'm top. That's all I need
While
to
we're
know.
here, yeah, you are top, followed by Farney, then Ben, then Lewis, then me. Me and Lewis have the 11 exact scores correct so far.
Okay.
And you've got 10. But you've got 27 teams that you predicted to qualify for the round of 32.
That's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it's the joint most.
I haven't done any changes either, so I don't even know how to do that. So I just left it.
I think I did one change, but I still think I fucked it up. I only did the change because I looked at all the fixtures and I thought, oh well, hold on a minute here. These two can't go
Something's
through
not
to
going to
the
work.
16.
Yeah.
So I took minus points to do that. But anyways, we'll come back to that. Siege, thanks very much. I think
Thanks, mate.
we'll catch up again later this week. Come on, England, we can do it.
Come on, England. Come on, boys.